Hello all. So Tai Chi Tuesday and Follow Friday are temporarily on hold because I've had an issue with my software on the computer for editing. So I can't actually get it to work and I can't edit any videos. So I can only do short ones at the moment, which I can do on my phone and then upload straight to YouTube from my phone. So they have to be fairly short. So what I'm going to do today is something I was going to do in a couple of weeks' time, but I have mentioned this particular lesson, and we're going to introduce Dave. So if you've been in class, you've probably met Dave. He is my Tai Chi class helper, and I'm just going to look at, he's feeling a bit deflated today, ignore the smile, he's a bit... I'm just going to demonstrate peng energy, kinetic energy with him. And why I'm always saying about holding the ball away from the body, so that there's a space, and all of the Tai Chi movements should be done so that there's a nice space in front of the body. So let me show you with Dave. So we're going to use this very small space here just to demonstrate on the wall the peng energy. So inside the ball, it's full of air. It looks really huge on the screen, but it is actually, it's just an exercise ball. And as you can see, it is a bit deflated currently. So kinetic energy. So inside the ball, there is air and lots of ions and things moving around, depending on the temperature, depends on what speed they move. And when you press, they are compressed and they move in different directions and different speeds. And so what happens when you press against a wall is the energy tries to push back out at you. Now, and if you get any of these balls, or you've happened to have one at home for yoga, or you had one for birthing or whatever, and you try this, and even though he's a bit deflated, poor thing, I'm pushing on here and he's trying to push back still. And that's the energy that you're pushing back inside the ball is coming back this way, is how kinetic energy works. So this is why we need a good stance. I'll just change you around a little bit there. Having a good stance is really good because when this energy is coming back at you, this is a really good example of in Tai Chi, if you're on the defensive, you don't know where that energy is going to go and you need to be able to control it. I'll push Dave against the wall, poor Dave, and it'll push back. And if I'm just standing here anywhere and I'm just pushing, that energy can throw me off in any direction. And I'm not necessarily going to know where it's going to go. And you can try this at home with one of these, and it's really quite easy. And then if you try and do the same thing, but you root down through your feet, through the floor, and you get in a really good bow stance, so your feet are shoulder width apart. Go and look at the videos on stances. And at the beginning of Tai Chi Tuesday, that also tell you a good stance. And then I root through the floor, and then I try and push Dave, and he tries to push me back, but actually I can control that. And then if we're using similar kind of movements or stances to Tai Chi movements, say in grasp the bird's tail, for instance, and this is also the beginning of push hands as well, by the way, I can move Dave and I can control that energy that's coming back at me from the wall wherever I want, because I've got this really good stance. I'm pushed through the floor. My feet are shoulder width apart. And I can basically move Dave wherever I want. Now, the fact that I fell then meant that I became unrooted, which I did because I was leaning too far that way. So this is why in the movements we're doing Tai Chi, and I say things like, let's say for instance, part the horse's mane, and I'll say don't take the hand out too far, because that's literally what I just did with Dave. My hand went out too far. I then had to move some of my weight off this back foot so it's no longer rooted through the floor, and then the energy pushed me off that way. And I lost control of that energy. So when we start doing push hands next year, you are going to, possibly this year when this video goes up, you will start to use this theory and this way of moving energy, and you'll start to feel how that works. So again, I'll get in a nice good stance, and as if I've done, let's say I've done peng on grasp the bird's tail, and I'm nicely pressed into the floor, and I can push hard into there and he can't throw me off. I can move him a little bit and it won't throw me off. But if I extend my arm too far, that energy will then be able to move me and unroot me. And that is the basis, really, of Tai Chi and how it works. Last thing, as I said, let's give him some fame, there we go, is holding the ball. So when we hold the ball, top hand is about chest height, bottom hand is just under the belly button or the dantian, and the hands are away from the body. Quite often, especially for beginners or if you're a little bit anxious or feeling uncomfortable in a class, your ball will be quite small and it'll probably be pressed into the body a little bit. And that's when I normally say needs to be bigger or it needs to be away from the body. Now the reason for that is when I'm holding Dave or my ball, if I hold top and bottom as if we would do it normally, so I've put him straight on the floor, this would be where I would hold my ball. Okay, so that's where I'm holding my ball. I have complete control of this ball and of the energy. There's no energy moving forward or to the sides or backwards because I'm holding the ball directly on the bottom and the top. So the energy is central. If I hold the ball close to my body, I'm having trouble actually keeping hold of him, and actually he's just sprung out the front because the energy is moving that way, the same as if I hold the ball to the side like this and it's into the body. Because it's not central, the energy will eventually, the kinetic energy will eventually make it burst out of the one side. So I hope that explains a little bit about peng energy, which is also kinetic energy and is an actual scientific thing. It's not spiritual or anything like that. There are a lot of other bits and areas of spiritual energy and things that go with Qigong and then combine into Tai Chi. But a lot of it is just things that we can't see, but they are actually there. Depends on your level of belief there. But as far as kinetic energy goes, peng energy, that is 100% real. And again, you can try it out yourself. I will probably bring Dave at the beginning of 2024 at some point, and you'll be able to have a go for yourself. And during 2024, we're also going to start doing push hands again. We did do it before COVID a little bit. I think people are a bit more comfortable being with other people now. So we'll do a bit of push hands this year because it's really helpful to see those tense areas in the elbow and the wrist and the hand. And also to think about, it makes you think about your stance, because when you're moving this energy for the push hands, you have to be in control of that energy, as I just showed on the wall. So that's just a little taster, and I will see you in class. Also, thank you to new subscribers that aren't in classes. If you're close enough, do come along. If not, do stick comments in, tell me where you are, and let me know if there's anything you want to see in particular. I'll see you later.